No, read it! Why are you Germans so obsessed with me? Or explain to me why you Germans are so obsessed with me. John was unfazed by the question. His expression remained the same, thoughtful, perhaps a little sad look in his intelligent blue eyes. He was silent, his gaze watching me cautiously before flicking down to the marble floor as he answered, "You're beautiful. You're flat, and that makes you beautiful. You're annoying, and that makes you beautiful too. Your hair." I looked away as he talked. I can't read this. I'm gonna read it extremely fast and just like annoyingly. I looked away as he reached out and tucked a loose strand of my hair behind my ear, and I stopped myself from kidding at his cool touch. It's beautiful. Your face. He put a hand on my cheek for a moment, and I flinched back. That time. It is beautiful. I stared at the ground for a moment and glanced up at him for a moment as he continued. Your eyes are beautiful. Please don't poke me in the eye, I told him, and he laughed quietly, shaking his head and settling into a shy smile. Your humor is beautiful, John continued as he tapped my chin twice with 2 fingers. Chin up. I snorted and looked away from him. Slightly annoyed, because you are beautiful and nothing can change that, and that is why us Germans, as well as everyone else that has ever met you, is obsessed with you. Naturally, I responded in turn by pulling my arm back and slapping him across the face mercilessly. Pow! Somebody just screamed in the other room. I'm going to ignore that. Naturally, I responded in return by pulling back my arm and slapping him across the face mercilessly. Go home, lover boy. I don't need your crap. With that, I turned heel and walked away. Even so, I heard his voice faintly call out from behind me. You may not need me and my stupidity, but I think that I need yours. I didn't turn around. Angelica, thank you. I walked into the hotel room absently, shutting the door behind me as I listlessly before collapsing onto the edge of one of the beds and mashing my face into the crisp white hotel sheets instead of the cake or most certainly beer spiked Snapple. For John came, neither eating nor drinking, and they say, he is possessed, quoted Matthew, poking my side with a bare toe. Why aren't you eating the cake, bro? Luke asked, hopping to his feet cheerily enough and half skipping, half walking over to me, his collapsed brother. What's written on it that makes you want me to eat it so fucking bad? I asked, my voice muffled by the bed sheets. I turned my vision slightly afterwards, looking over to a nearby tabletop through my peripheral vision. Mark took a glance at the cake and swiped the finger over the top of it and added in a quick, half-hearted attempt using a knife to carve an extra word so that, congratulations, we're proud of you for getting laid. Become congratulations. We're going the Gupwimp to help you get laid. I think it's supposed to say, congratulations, we're going to help you get laid. Well, Mark said, grinning sheepishly at us as he licked trace amounts of frosting off his finger. Long story. Luke laughed at our older brother's stupidity and facepalmed himself, shaking his blonde head. Nothing happened, Mark. Nothing happened, Mark half tried to convince us, though knowing him, we all knew that was quite a lie. Speaking about if nothing happened or not, Gregory started, bursting into the room from the bathroom. What happened down there with La Señorita Bonita? And this hotel has some really nice sub, did you see? His not-so-subtle change of subject did nothing to stop me from shoving my face back into the bedsheets as his first query. I sighed in exhaustion, not exasperation, and sat up, glancing around at my brothers and sassy gay best friend before staring down at the ground. Nothing happened. I'm sure that my voice sounded extremely sad and disappointed, though that wasn't exactly what was running through my mind at the moment. Don't worry, bro, Mark said, trying to grin at me as he carefully picked the cake up and brought it over to me. We got your back. We'll teach you everything we know, Matthew attempted to comfort me. Attempted, being the most literal word here. He didn't comfort me at all with his words. Pickup lines, Luke suggested, grinning slyly. Romantic gestures, Mark added in somewhat more thoughtfully. Conversation topics, Matthew put in. How to be sexy. Gregory proposes an idea, and we all laughed. I could teach that. I'm just kidding. And I suppose I'll be apparently learning these life skills in that order, I asked sarcastically. Although my siblings were bright and intelligent and all, sometimes sarcasm just went over their heads, or more likely, ignored it. Why, of course, dear brother, Matthew replied a little too impishly. Pickup lines, to start it is. Oh, and this was definitely going to be horrid. John. Nope, no, so done with everything right now. My supposed romance lessons were horrible. I mean, I totally expected it to be terrible in the first place, but not as downright ridiculous and excessive and offensive to me as in my existence. I cannot even begin to explain how ridiculous it is to have your own siblings use pickup lines on you and flirt and everything. In my life is ridiculous, if you hadn't noticed. Things that happen to me tend to be things that only happen to people in stories, I swear. Oh, things that only happen in stories. Next is the romance lessons. lines. Ooh, this should be interesting. Pickup lines. Okay, let's go. Luke, since he was the one that suggested it, was the one that didn't really taught me how to effectively use pickup lines. Okay, man, he started out with, and I should have just left the room with those words. Every girl is different. Gregory coughed not so sadly in the corner. I was like, not so sadly in the corner, and Luke continued on sheepishly. And I suppose that if you happen to randomly be using these on a guy, guys are all different too. Unless you want to confess something here now, so that this lesson can be over. Mark interrupted a little too innocently. Shut up, I grumbled. No. John is so gay. John is so gay. He is a model. Okay, first of all, okay, I know that all models aren't gay, but he is really gay. Like, really gay. Really. Really gay. That he carries around a compact like Leo. Okay. Anyways, Luke said, so people are different and therefore different pickup lines will work on them. Usually for us foreigners, it works best on girls to do that whole other language thing and show off whatever German thing you think will impress them, which as I said, it usually does. But I think that we all know that Sid, the foxy lady that she is, I rolled my eyes in disgust as he licked his bottom lightly, a wolfish grin crossing his face. Doesn't give half a shit about us being German. Instead, I'll advise you to use ones that pertain to whatever she's interested in. What does she like? I thought about it for a moment, thinking back to the letters sent, words spoken. Disney, Dr. Seuss, RCE, her friends. Stuff. Luke sat there and thought for a moment before he looked up and said brightly, okay, here's some good starting topics. Disney. He was silent for a moment before going up to Gregory and whispered mildly seductively, hey, beauty, can I introduce you to my beast? Motherfucker! Matthew yelled out before he burst into laughter and applause. Oh, you sly tiger, Gregory said, laughing. I'm Aladdin, baby. Want to rub my lamp and see what genie comes out? Luke said. I see what you did there, Mark pointed out loudly. Tiger, Raja, Jasmine, Aladdin. That's just great. At that point, even though I knew full well that Luke was only just getting started, I simply got up from my chair and walked out of the hotel room and banged my head against the door until a girl about my age burst out of the room next door to me to yell at me. When she actually saw me, she straightened up and hid a baseball bat behind her back, smiling what seemed like inane embarrassment. Sorry, I apologized to her sheepishly, managing a smile before giving her a hasty wave and opening my own hotel room door again and slipping back inside. When they all turned to look at me, their mouths shut, but their eyes glittering with remnants of laughter. Okay, bitches, no more Disney pickup lines. No, just no. Alright, then on to the topic of Dr. Seuss. Luke transitioned quickly. Dr. Seuss pickup lines. Okay. Luke transitioned quickly, though perhaps a little bit regretfully. He sauntered casually. Is that a cat in your hat? Are you just excited to see me? Holy mother of God, Luke, do you really want me to walk out of this room again? I told him, shaking my head and smiling a little bit on impulse. Okay, I'll tone it down, Luke assured me, though I knew it was an empty promise. Would you like to see my house? Would you like to unbutton my blouse? Would you like to grazzle my flam? In the morning, green eggs and ham! Mother of God! I yelled, somewhat offended, starting to get up. No, stop it. All I am getting from Sid if I use any of these on her is another slap across the face. True. Oh, I thought that you were going to get a slap across the ass, Luke replied in turn, winking at me slightly. Only if it's slap ass Friday. No, I'm just kidding. Dear Lord, I said exasperatedly, throwing my hands up into the air. See? Just use whatever she answers to get ideas of what to say next, Luke tried to explain, and I shook my head sadly, chuckling. Just a little bit of saucy. Gregory started as he got up and did a little dance. Banter won't hurt, Johnny Poo. Why are you using Johnny Poo from Mia's awkward song? That was horrible. That song was terrible. No. I rolled my eyes and Luke continued in approval. Girls think it's cute when we have something to say back. Just not all the time. The conversation is going back and forth, perhaps about the same topic, although if it comes to it, a change. Romeo and Juliet, man, a couple lines about kissing and suddenly they're doing it themselves and running off and getting married. I snorted. My relationship with Sid is nothing like Romeo and Juliet's. Not even close. Not the point, Luke sing-sung before continuing with the lesson. Afterwards, it was Mark's turn, and his wasn't quite as terrible.